The people who installed your guilt buttons know exactly how to push them. You feel the heat rise in your chest, that familiar sinking twist of obligation you've known your whole life. You find yourself saying yes when every cell in your body is screaming no, and you walk away resenting them for asking, and hating yourself for agreeing. By the end of this, you will understand the deep mechanics of why this manipulation works so well, and you will have the precise script to disable the entire system. The feeling of guilt is a deeply primal human experience. It evolved as a crucial social glue. For our ancestors, getting kicked out of the tribe was a death sentence. Guilt served as an internal alarm system, a painful warning that our actions might be threatening our connection to the group. It signaled a need to repair a social bond to ensure our survival. Your brain processes the pain of social rejection in the very same regions that process physical pain. The hurt is biochemically real. This is why a guilt trip feels like a physical blow. It's a threat alert, firing on all cylinders. But this ancient survival mechanism, this system designed to promote harmony and repair, gets hijacked. A healthy conscience feels remorse when we've genuinely caused harm and prompts us to make amends. Weaponized guilt does the opposite. It manufactures a sense of wrongdoing where none exists. It's an alarm bell ringing for a fire that was intentionally set by the person handing you the extinguisher. So what separates that healthy, corrective pang of conscience from the toxic, coercive manipulation that holds you hostage? The difference lies in understanding the transaction. A guilt trip is almost always a covert contract. It begins with an unsolicited action from the other person. They offer a gift you didn't ask for. It could be a piece of advice, a favor, an expensive present, or an emotional performance of their own sacrifice. They'll tell you how they stayed up all night worrying about you, or how they went out of their way to do something for you, or how much they've given up for you over the years. This initial act creates a deliberate imbalance. It establishes a social debt. You are now, in their eyes, beholden to them. Then, later, the bill arrives. It comes in the form of a request, wrapped in an accusation. After all the time I spent helping you with your resume, you can't even come to my party? Or, I drove across town in the rain to bring you that soup when you were sick. Is it really too much to ask for you to help me this weekend? The request is framed as the bare minimum you could do to repay the debt you never agreed to incur. To refuse is to be labeled ungrateful, selfish, uncaring. It's a brilliant trap because it shifts the conversation away from the legitimacy of their request and puts your character on trial. Your choices become comply and feel resentful, or refuse and be judged as a bad person. Think about the last time this happened. That heavy feeling in your stomach. It was the weight of an unwritten invoice being slapped on the table. But seeing the transaction for what it is doesn't always stop us from paying it. Why does your hand still reach for your wallet? Why do you agree to terms you know are unfair, even when you see the game being played? The answer lies in one of your greatest strengths, your empathy. People who are most susceptible to guilt trips are often the most empathetic. You have a finely tuned ability to feel what others are feeling. When someone expresses disappointment, hurt, or sadness towards you, you don't just hear it, you feel it. A part of you experiences their emotional state as your own, and because you are a problem solver, a caring person, your immediate instinct is to fix it. You want to alleviate their pain, so you say yes, you comply. You abandon your own needs to regulate their emotional state for them. The guilt tripper has learned, consciously or unconsciously, to outsource their emotional management. Their disappointment becomes your responsibility. Their loneliness becomes your problem to solve. Their anxiety is a crisis you're expected to manage. They feel a negative emotion, and instead of processing it themselves, they hand it to you. The guilt you feel is the hot potato of their unresolved feelings. You are trying to put out a fire in their house while your own is being neglected. Imagine a woman named Clara. Her mother lives alone in a town an hour away. Every Friday the call comes. "I've just been so lonely, Clara. I was really hoping you'd come for the weekend. I don't see you enough." Clara, who has a demanding job and a partner she wants to spend time with, feels the familiar dread. She imagines her mother, sad and alone in her quiet house. Clara's empathy kicks in. She feels a shadow of that loneliness herself. So she cancels her plans. She spends her weekend driving, making small talk, and feeling her own energy drain away. She drives home Sunday night exhausted and resentful. her own well of happiness completely dry because she spent the entire weekend trying to fill her mother's. Clara is a good daughter. Her empathy is a gift. But in this dynamic, her gift has been turned into her cage. But knowing this, seeing the pattern, isn't enough to break it. There's a chasm between intellectual understanding and in-the-moment action. So what do you actually say when the pressure is on? The solution is a 3-part script. It's simple to learn and profoundly effective because it sidesteps the entire trap. It refuses to put your character on trial. The method is acknowledge, validate, and limit. First, you acknowledge their feeling. You start by verbalizing what you hear from them, using their own emotional language. This is simple recognition. I can hear how disappointed you are. I see that you're hurt. I understand you are really hoping I could do that for you. This single step is disarming. The primary weapon of a guilt trip is the implicit accusation that you're callous or don't care. By acknowledging their feeling first, you neutralize that weapon immediately. You are showing them that you are listening. Second, you validate their emotion. This is the most crucial and misunderstood step. You are validating their right to feel a certain way. You are not agreeing with their reason for feeling that way. You are separating their emotion from their manipulative logic. You can say it makes sense that you feel let down, or that's a completely understandable way to feel, or if I were in your shoes, I might feel the same way. You are giving them the gift of emotional validation without accepting the blame or the attached obligation. You are saying your feeling is real, which is different from saying your feeling is my fault. Third, you state your limit. You use the word and, never the word but. The word but negates everything that came before it. It says, I'm just saying this to soften the blow before I tell you no. The word and is powerful. It allows both things to be true at the same time. Their feeling is valid and your boundary is firm. I can see you're really hurt and I won't be able to come over tonight. I understand you feel I'm letting you down and my answer is still no. I hear how much you are counting on me and I'm not going to be able to lend you the money. It's clean. It's direct. There are no excuses, no long justifications, no defensive arguments. You are a calm, solid presence. Let's run a scenario. A friend says, I can't believe you're not coming to my birthday dinner. After I spent weeks helping you move into your new apartment. The old response would be to get defensive. I have to work early the next day. It's not that I don't want to come. You know I'm grateful for your help. You've taken the bait. Now you're arguing about your gratitude, your work schedule, your character. The AVL response sounds like this. I hear how disappointed you are that I can't make it. Acknowledge. It totally makes sense that you'd feel hurt, especially after all the help you gave me. Validate. And I'm not going to be able to be there on Saturday night. Limit. See the difference? There's nothing to fight against. You've already agreed with their feelings. You've taken all the drama out of the exchange. All that's left is your calm, unshakable boundary. This sounds simple, but the person on the other end, accustomed to your compliance, will likely not accept it on the first try. So what happens when they push back? When you first use this technique, expect an escalation. The other person is used to a certain dance, and you've just changed the steps. They will try to pull you back onto the old dance floor. They might say, so you're saying my feelings don't matter? Or they might escalate to a direct attack. You're the most selfish person I know. This is the critical moment. This is where most people fold. Your instinct will be to defend yourself, to explain, to placate. You must resist. Your strategy here is the broken record. You don't need new material. You don't need a better argument. You simply, calmly, repeat the core message of your boundary. Them. So you just don't care about my feelings at all. You. I care about your feelings very much, and I won't be able to make it Saturday. Thanks for nothing. You. I understand this is really upsetting for you, and my answer isn't going to change. Them. I can't believe how cold you're being. You. I know this is hard to hear, and I've made my decision. Notice you're not a robot. Your words can vary slightly, but the core message remains the same. I hear you, and my boundary stands. You are a peaceful stone in a river of their emotional chaos. The current will rush around you, but it will not move you. This is hard. Your heart will be pounding. You are breaking a lifelong pattern of conditioning. Critics of this approach might call it selfish. They're missing the point. Resentful compliance is not kindness. Giving out of obligation with a bitter taste in your mouth poisons both the giver and the receiver. True generosity is a joyful act. It can only come from a place of freedom. By learning to say a clear, respectful no, you are reclaiming the power and sincerity of your yes. The ultimate goal here is to end the game entirely. Guilt tripping requires two players. It needs your participation. When you refuse to pick up your end of the rope, the emotional tug-of-war is over. You are taking back your emotional sovereignty. You are declaring that your feelings are just as valid as theirs, and that you are the sole person responsible for managing your own well-being. The guilt you feel in that moment of setting a boundary is a withdrawal symptom. It's your nervous system reacting to the perceived threat of disappointing someone whose approval you were conditioned to need. You must be willing to sit in that fire of discomfort temporarily. That discomfort is the price of admission to a life run on your own terms. It's the fee for graduating from the school of people-pleasing. Some relationships, particularly those built on a foundation of your compliance, may not survive this shift. When you stop playing your assigned role, the entire structure may become unstable. This is a painful and clarifying truth. It reveals which connections are based on mutual respect, and which were simply transactions of convenience. You deserve relationships that can withstand your no. The next time you feel that familiar twist in your gut, that hot flush of obligation, see it for what it is. It's a choice. It's an emotional invoice someone has just handed you, demanding payment for a service you never ordered. You can pay it and continue to fund a system that depletes you. Or you can look at them with warmth and clarity. You can acknowledge their feeling, validate their emotion, and hold to your limit. The discomfort is temporary, the freedom is not. Starting now, your signature is no longer required.